Hello guys, good morning everybody. Welcome to your YouTube channel. I hope I am audible. If I am audible, let me know. Audible. हाँ जी. Okay. So right, we're gonna start the session for today. Right. So the most important news that we have in our today's newspaper right now, today's newspaper doesn't have that much important editorials. So our news or the analysis would be based on the various news that we will be discussing. Navy thwarts hijacking attempt in Arabian Sea. Now this is the fourth such incident that we can say has happened in the past 1 month related to hijacking or related to drone attack, right? We have seen such incidents that are being now augmenting in the what we can say Arabian Sea, right? Piracy attacks हो रहे हैं, फिर hijacking operations चल रहे हैं. As a result, government and Indian Navy has also increased the maritime surveillance as well, right? So as you can see, right, there has a cargo vessel by the name of Leela Norfolk that was basically, अगर हम बात करें, they made a message that they have been attacked by certain pirates, right? So as a result, Navy responded in and Marcos responded in, and they were able to safely evacuate all the 21 crew members, including 15 Indians, from the merchant vessel Leela Norfolk, right? So these are the kind of incidents that have increased, had amplified over the past 1 month. Like, I will tell you certain incidents as well, right? You need to remember the name of the vessels as well, because this could be asked in the examination as well. Now, on December 14, Malta flagged vessel MV Rune with an 18-member crew sent a mayday message indicating boarding by about 6 unknown persons around 700 nautical miles from the Indian coast. On December 23, MV Shem Pluto with 21 Indian and 1 Vietnamese crew members reported a projectile attack around 217 nautical miles southwest of Porbandar. Initial investigation by the Navy indicated a drone attack. And on December 23, a Gabon flagged crude oil tanker by the name of MV Sai Baba with an all India crew heading to India was hit by one-way attack drone in the southern Red Sea. No injuries were reported. Now these are the areas where we are witnessing that there have been a quite we can say increase in disturbances, and the we can say such incidents are being reported mostly in these areas. If we can see in the map as well, these are the areas of the Red Sea, right? I am going to write Red Sea over here so that you can able to understand, right? Okay. Now this is the area that has been most affected, right? I'm going to show you in map as well. Like, this is the area that is this Red Sea. This is Strait of Bab el-Mandeb that I already discussed yesterday, and now this area of Arabian Sea where we are seeing a lot of attacks that have been happening on the merchant vessels, and this has come against the backdrop of the Houthi rebels that have increased their attacks in the Red Sea. Now this is an important point that we have to understand, that Houthi rebels have attacked or increase their attacks in the Red Sea, and it is one of the issues that has been being, we can say, motivated. That is the issue of Israel and Gaza, and as a result retaliation has taken place from US as well in order to attack Red Sea. So this is the second point that we have to understand, right? यहाँ पे अगर हम ध्यान से देखें ना, इस एरिया में काफी ज्यादा अटैक्स देखने को मिल रहे हैं, and most, if we can say, certainly it has been the attacks on the cargo vessels and the merchant vessels that are being facing the brunt of these attacks. So what we can say from this situation that we are right now witnessing is that we are seeing a war, Israel and let's say Hamas, that has reached beyond the borders and is now continuing in the sea. So this is one of the aspects that we have to understand. Second important thing हमें ये समझनी चाहिए इस पूरे मामले में, इसकी वजह से क्या हुआ है कि इफेक्ट होगा ट्रेड बहुत ज्यादा, बिकॉज द मर्चेंट वेसल्स वुड बी लेट्स से स्केप्टिक रिलेटेड टू वेदर दे नीड टू यूज दिस रूट इन ऑर्डर टू मूव देयर वेसल्स, और दे कैन गो फॉर ऑल्टरनेटिव रूट्स कंसिडरिंग हाउ मच दिस एरिया हैज बिकम अनसेफ ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ time, considering how much drone attacks have been happening. There have been certain persons that have been hijacking the merchant vessels, plus there has been attack from Houthi rebels as well. As a result, yesterday we discussed as well, government has increased the maritime surveillance in this entire region. This is very, very important. Government has increased the maritime surveillance in this whole region, right? So this is one of the areas that has been in news recently, जो हम देख भी रहे हैं, Houthi rebels की वजह से भी देख रहे हैं. And the second important area that has been in news over the period is, if we can see in the map, I think everybody are able to see these red dots. This is the area, or this is the country of Maldives, right? and this is what we have. Let me show you through map, right? अगर आप यहाँ पे अच्छे से देख पा रहे हैं, दिस इज द एरिया, दिस इज मालदीव्स एंड दिस इज लक्षद्वीप, राइट? नाउ रिसेंटली आवर प्राइम मिनिस्टर, अगर हम देखें, लक्षद्वीप में थे, एंड दिस इज द एरिया दैट इज मालदीव्स. वन ऑफ द थिंग दैट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इन द कंटेक्स्ट ऑफ मालदीव्स इज दैट मालदीव्स इज समहाउ बिकमिंग एंटी इंडिया and pro-China, right? So these can be understood by the developments that have taken over the past, like Maldives. The recent regime, the newly elected regime of Maldives, has clearly said that they do not want Indians on their soil, though they had asked the Indian military to go away from Maldives. Second important thing was the recent revoking of the hydrographic agreement that was signed between India and Maldives, that they would be taking in the waters around Maldives, that has been revoked by Maldives. So this indicates that Maldives doesn't trust India, and as a result they are more favor of China. So as a result also there has been certain talks that China might be planning an ocean observatory closer to Maldives in a particular atoll over here that is very very close to Lakshadweep. So it becomes very much imperative for India that India needs to start looking into the potential of Lakshadweep, and India needs to counter China as well. So as a result, अगर हमें चाइना को काउंटर करना है जो अपनी प्रेजेंस इस Maldives रीजन में बना रहा है, so we have to make sure that we have also our presence in Lakshadweep as well. And when we talk about Lakshadweep, Lakshadweep is a archipelago of 36 islands. Very very important. Now recently our prime minister was over here and he announced a lot of projects over here as well. Like one of the projects that was announced by our Prime Minister was the inauguration of the we can say optical fiber cable network that will increase the internet speed in the islands of Lakshadweep, which they have not been getting over the past few years, right? तो यहाँ से उनकी इंटरनेट की स्पीड बढ़ेगी, प्लस देयर हैव बीन सर्टेन मोर प्रोग्राम्स दैट हैव बीन लॉन्च इन ऑर्डर टू मेक श्योर दैट वी आर एबल टू ऑगमेंट द कैपेसिटी ऑफ Lakshadweep from security point of view as well as from economic point of view as well. Right now I think everybody understand that whenever we see a holiday destination or for tourism, Maldives is a great spot that is being used by India, and India is basically one of the promoters. We can say there a lot of tourists from India goes to Maldives. So before going to Maldives, one of the thing we have to understand is government is trying to make sure that Lakshadweep can be considered as an alternative option in comparison to Maldives. So from economic point of view, Lakshadweep is being targeted so that we are able to increase the tourism in Lakshadweep, and by doing that, by focusing at the economic point, by focusing at the security point of view, we are able to have our presence in the Lakshadweep area, because what we are witnessing is Maldives is giving preference to China. They will allow Chinese ships over here, they will allow Chinese ocean observatory over here, and if China comes closer to Lakshadweep, then it brings a major threat to Lakshadweep as well. That is an integral part of India. So as a result, government has been trying so that they could augment the capacity of Lakshadweep and they can counter the Maldives. And if we see the situation of Maldives, their concerns are, we can say, overestimating. Why? Because they are considering that if India would have come and conducted joint hydrographic survey, then they would have used it for intelligence purpose. But one of the things they are forgetting is India and Mauritius already have such agreements where India has used that particular surveys for civilian purpose rather than going for military purpose. This is the point of view that we have already discussed in a previous editorial that is being missed by if we talk about Maldives, right? Maldives को ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, and Maldives is going pro China, and Maldives could become next target of China, that China has already made sure that it has done to countries like Sri Lanka and Pakistan. So Maldives has to be very clever. वो अलग बात है, वो अपनी clever दिखाएंगे नहीं दिखाएंगे, but India is taking its stance and India is trying to focus on the islands of Lakshadweep, which are very very important and which are very very crucial for the safety and security of India as well as for the economic growth aspects of the country. So these are the two regions that has been in news if we talk about in recent times. That is, one of the region is that is this Maldives and Lakshadweep, and second one is this Arabian Sea and Red Sea. And I am telling you guys, there is a huge probability that there might be a question in UPSC prelims related to this area. I am telling you again and again. Why? Because we have seen questions come like this only related to these areas if they are in the news. So this area becomes totally important considering Andaman and Nicobar as well Nicobar Island as well, Lakshadweep, Maldives, Gulf of Aden, Arabian Sea, Persian, Red Sea, and we have the Suez Canal as well, right? So this is a point that we have to understand. If we would be able to understand, I think हमारा ये IR point of view से हमारा आर्टिकल बहुत अच्छे से प्रिपेयर हो जाएगा. यहाँ तक किसी को कोई डाउट है तो पूछ सकते हो. हाँ जी. Is this article clear to everybody? You understand what is happening over these areas, merchant vessels being targeted, and second area of interest is this Lakshadweep and Maldives. हाँ जी. Right? Okay. Now moving to the next part or the second news for today. It is related to India's GDP is estimated to grow by 7.3%, says NSO. Now, one of the points that we need to know is इंडिया के जो जीडीपी के एस्टिमेट्स हैं, ना ही सिर्फ एनएसओ जो हमारी सरकारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, बट इट हैज बीन seen a better projections by the international organizations as well, like World Bank, right? So if we see India's real GDP growth, it is estimated at 7.3% compared to 7.2%. Earlier it was estimated that our GDP growth would be around 7.2%, but it could be seeing that we might grow at 7.3% as according to the estimates of national income that has been released by National Statistical Office, right? So this is very, very interesting. And now when we talk about this whole our GDP growth, right, you can see over here that is the scenario what we are seeing in the relation to the graph of the GDP from 2015-16 to 2023-2024. So as you can see over here, from 2015-16 our GDP growth was hovering around the 7 and 8% mark, but it slowly declined over the period of time. As you can see, it took a maximum toll during the time of the COVID, where it went in the minus figures, but after COVID it has rejuvenated and now it is being stabilized at 7.3% rate, which is very, very important for India. Now when I talk about GDP, there are certain important things that we need to learn about, certain facts and figures of GDP. Like when we talk about GDP, I have told you so many times, there are two methods that are being employed in the country in order to calculate the GDP or the national income. One is the gross value added method, and second one is the expenditure method. Now these are the two methods that are being used by the NSO in order to calculate the figures of GDP. There is another method that has been advocated in our NCRTs as well, that you can also know about, that is the income method, that are coming from the factors of production. But from calculation point of view, our economy and our organizations look forward to gross value added and expenditure method. Now when we talk about gross value added method, there is this gross value that is taken from different sectors and they are added over a period of time. Similarly, when we talk about expenditure method, then in expenditure method actually we are taking about the expenditure that is being received by the country, like from private final consumption expenditure, government final consumption expenditure, plus gross fixed capital formation, and finally we have the net export minus import. This is the mathematical formula that is being employed by the country in order to calculate GDP from the expenditure method. That is very, very important. And we have seen over the period of time that there are a lot of important factors that we need to consider that can make us, let's say, increase our GDP. One of the factor that has been constantly there is the private final consumption expenditure. That is the private expenditure on consumption goods or consumer goods, right? Second important thing we need to understand is that there has been certain not that much a contribution that has come from capital investments, plus if we talk about exports, right? If we want to make sure that we achieve a growth that we want to achieve, then these are the two factors that has to necessarily play a very important role. Otherwise we would be lagging behind in the GDP growth that we are looking forward to, considering how much demographic dividend we right now have, and we have an advantage as compared to rest of the countries. So we need to focus on export plus this gross fixed capital formation. And when I talk about export, our government has brought in very huge measures in order to make sure that we are increasing our export. The latest incentive that is being done by the government in order to promote the manufacturer, in order to increase their production, it is related to PLI scheme, that is production linked incentive, that has been opened in various sectors as well. So this is the point that we need to understand about production linked incentive as well, that can augment the exports in the country. I hope this point is clear to everybody. ये फॉर्मूला याद रखना, अगर कोई क्वेश्चन आता भी है GDP का, I think you would be able to solve it if you know this formula, right? Okay. Now this is the second article that we have already discussed, right? Now moving to the first article. Now this is related to as Center's Digi Yatra takes off, flyers may be unknowingly signing up for it. Now there is a one app that is being used, that is Digi Yatra, that was enrolled in December. But one thing people are not aware, that their biometrics are being taken in this, what we say, in Digi Yatra. Now this is one of the concern that has been highlighted, because when they are taking your biometrics, they are taking a very important information of yours that becomes a part of your privacy. So without telling you, biometrics are being taken, that basically infringes your right to privacy. And this has been an anecdote that has been shared by one person according to the article, that how the people are unknowingly giving their personal data that has been enrolled. अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं recently अभी enroll किया गया है. Okay, moving to the next part, we have already discussed these two articles, right? So coming to the next article, ठीक है, आज इतना कुछ खास न्यूज़पेपर में है नहीं है, बट फिर भी हम कर रहे हैं. So there was one new program that has been launched. Yes, this is the program that I was talking about, very important. Government cabinet gives nod to Prithvi program for earth observation. Now this is very important and interesting. The union cabinet cleared around 5,000 crore program, around 4797, you can round figure to 5,000 crore, called Prithvi, that is expected to subsume 5 existing schemes of the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Now this is very important. Now there would be 5 programs or schemes that are being launched by Ministry of Earth Sciences that would be subsumed by the new program that the cabinet is giving nod to, that is Prithvi program. Very important. These programs are being used to increase the long-term observation of the atmosphere, ocean, cryosphere and solid earth, to track changes in the planet, develop models to understand, predict weather, ocean and climate hazards, and understand the science and climate change, explore polar and high seas regions of the earth to discover new phenomena and resources, and develop technology for exploration and sustainable harnessing of oceanic resources, right? So when we see these what we can call it various programs, that we get to know that they are trying to understand the various physiological features of the earth. Second important thing is, one of the major component of this Prithvi program would be deep ocean mission, right? One of the objectives of deep ocean mission, I think everybody knows, is to send a manned submarine 6,000 meters into the Indian Ocean. Now this is the point that we have to understand, that Prithvi program is going to subsume a lot of programs of the Ministry of Earth Sciences. One of the programs that would be subsumed under the Prithvi program is the deep ocean mission, that is the manned mission to, or this manned submarine mission to send the this submarine to 6,000 meters into the Indian Ocean. Now I think ये सबको पता है कि काफी ज़्यादा, let's say it is an experimental observation that is being carried out by India, and we hope that in the upcoming future we see a success in it. Also, along with it, cabinet has also approved an agreement between the ISRO and the Mauritius Research and Innovation Council to jointly develop a small satellite. It is expected to cost 20 crore and be ready in 15 months. So we can see India and Mauritius are, let's say, co-working on a program that is basically to develop a small satellite. So one thing is absolutely clear from this aspect, जहाँ से दो चीजें निकल के आती हैं. एक तो पृथ्वी प्रोग्राम लॉन्च किया जा रहा है जो बाकी स्कीम्स को सबसिम कर रहा है. दूसरी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज जो हमें यहाँ पे समझनी चाहिए कि इंडिया और मॉरिशियस की आप फ्रेंडशिप देखिए. इंडिया और मॉरिशियस का हमें इतना अंदाजा नहीं होता, पर मॉरिशियस के साथ हमारे बहुत अच्छे रिलेशन है. एज यू कैन सी ओवर हियर दैट वी हैव बीन, लेट्स से ओवर द past few years we have been witnessing and we are been able to, what we are trying to do, we are trying to have certain technological cooperation, whether it is related to hydrographic survey or whether it is related in the field of space technology, right? Okay, now coming to the next part, right? यहाँ पे ऐसा कुछ खास नहीं है. Okay, so this is all the articles that we have already discussed, right? Nothing that much important. This is ground zero, West Bengal. This is related to Telangana, Karnataka. So these are the regional pages. I don't think they would be in your newspaper. ठीक है. Israel puts fourth post-war plan for Gaza as battle rages. North Korea fires artillery shells near South Korean islands, right? Nepal bars its citizens from going to Moscow, right? So this is a new news that has been coming, right? Okay. This is again the world news. ये वही Gaza वाला incidents चल रहा है. I think everybody knows. And this is December PMI Signal services activity rebounded to a 3-month high. So everybody knows what we have a purchasing manager index that comes separately for manufacturing sector as well as for the services sector. And when we talk about services sector, we see that there has been a 3-month high that has been witnessed. So new services sector jobs continues to rise. It has been said by purchasing manager index, which shows fresh export orders, however, clocked the slowest growth since January 2023. Input cost increase at the weakest pace in 40 months, right? तो इसमें ज़्यादा कुछ खास नहीं है. And now this is the important news that you can see over here. Red Sea crisis hit export as shipping insurance cost increase. That was what I am trying to tell you. Because of the disturbances that are being witnessed in the Red Sea, you can see that there has been rise in the shipping and the insurance cost, right? Okay. So I think that's it for today. Now tell me guys one thing. We have done our newspaper analysis for today, right? So there was this article and these news that we wanted to discuss, and we have already discussed those news and articles. Now tell me one thing, are you getting the newspaper in the same format? Because one of the students was telling me they are not having the same pages that I am witnessing on the e-paper. Do let me know. जिनके पास तो ऑनलाइन नहीं आता, फिजिकल कॉपी आती है, क्या तुम्हारे पास भी सेम न्यूज़पेपर आ रहा है या कुछ डिफरेंट आ रहा है? Because what we have seen is that they have changed the format of the Hindu e-paper. Earlier science page used to be at the end. Earlier you have the front page, then editorials, then news page, world page, business page. Now they have changed the whole scenario. E-paper is same, right? I think e-paper सबका same होगा, but मेरे ख्याल से physical copies में changes आ रहे हैं. हाँ जी, जिनके पास offline है, can they tell me about it? No sir, different paper. I think there have been certain changes that have been made, right? So yes, I think day before yesterday there was one article of science page that was not there in the physical copy. I think it was related to the space missions that are to be launched, right? 6 space missions that we discussed, but I uploaded it on Telegram group. Did you see the did you get that article in the Telegram group related to upcoming space missions? हाँ जी, quickly tell me guys. Yes, I get that little different, but did you get that thing, right? So the purpose here I want to tell you is I would be giving you the news article that is not over here. जैसे कि उस दिन था, जैसे अगर नहीं आता है तो मैं आपको वो forward कर दूंगा. Don't worry about it, right? So that's it for today. See, one of the thing I want to tell you is अगर कोई आपको न्यूज़ इंपॉर्टेंट लगती है न्यूज़पेपर में, कोई प्लेस ऑफ इंटरेस्ट आ जाती है, तो उसको जरूर मैप में जाके देखिए और अपने नोट्स में ऐड करिए. Because we are witnessing that there are a lot of questions being asked in UPSC in prelims related to these places that are in news, right? They're not gonna ask कि कहाँ पे कौन सा अटैक हो गया, but they're gonna definitely ask कि वो एरिया इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है और उनकी जो मैपिंग है जोग्राफी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, दैट बिकम्स एक्सट्रीमली एंड एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट. आई एम टेलिंग यू अगेन एंड अगेन, यू माइट सी अ क्वेश्चन इन यूपीएससी प्रीलिम्स ऑन रेड सी, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अरेबियन सी, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो यहाँ पे आप बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप इनको पढ़िए. कोई आसपास इनके पोर्ट्स डेवलप्ड हैं तो उनको भी देखिए, बिकॉज दीज आर द क्वेश्चंस दैट आई एम प्रेटी मच श्योर that's gonna come in the upcoming examination, right? So I think that's it for today. We will see each other now on Monday, same time 9 AM. ठीक है? Some of you had a certain, let's say कि मैं board पे नहीं आ रहा था, so right now I am there on board, right? From Monday also I would be maximum times I will try to make sure कि यार मैं board पे ही आऊँ, है ना? Fog बहुत ज़्यादा होती है, but still ठीक है. चलो, thank you so much. Take care and have a good weekend and a happy weekend. See you on Monday, same time 9 AM. Till then, take care.